Have you ever wondered how scientists discovered that chromosomes are a linear array of genes? In this video, we'll explore the answer to this question. This discovery was made based on genetic experiments on gene transmission in a fruit fly called Drosophila melanogaster. These experiments were done mainly by a research group that was led by Thomas Morgan. He and his group studied the transmissions of genes that are linked to the X chromosome. We'll begin with issues that were associated with the cytological description of chromosomes, in other words, how they appeared under a microscope. By observing the assortment of chromosomes in cells, the experiments showed that there was a causal connection between the X and Y chromosomes and sex determination. However, this does not mean that the X and Y chromosomes are solely sex determinants. We know that the behavior of chromosomes can be predicted by Mendel's laws. However, this doesn't necessarily mean that what Mendel described as a factor is a chromosome. The chromosome theory of inheritance fails to explain the mismatch between the relatively small number of chromosomes in a species and the vast number of inherited traits. Consequently, it doesn't clarify why there are so many genes present in a species. The hypothesis states that chromosomes contain more than one gene. The consequence of this hypothesis is that the second law of Mendel is not universal. It will only be respected for distinct traits that are associated with different chromosomes. If two distinct traits are associated with the same chromosome, they will not theoretically follow the second law of Mendel, which is the law of independent assortment. Therefore, genes that are carried by the same chromosome must be linked and cannot segregate independently from each other. Thomas Morgan's research group addressed the nature of gene linkage by studying the hereditary transmission of traits in Drosophila melanogaster. They focused especially on traits that were associated with the X chromosome, such as eye color, body color, and wing shape. To demonstrate their findings, we'll explore the linkage between the genes responsible for sex and eye color. When a true breeding female that has red eyes is crossed with a true breeding male with white eyes, the result is both male and females that possess red eyes. The second cross is between a male and female of the F1 generation and results in an F2 generation. The F2 generation gives rise to progeny that have three phenotypes: males with red eyes, males with white eyes, and females that only have red eyes. There are no females with white eyes. How can we interpret this? The eye color gene is carried by the X chromosome, and red is dominant over white. Let's take a closer look at the assortment of eye color alleles in the two crosses. The true breeding female has red eyes, so it will have two copies of the red allele, denoted as W+, one on each X chromosome. The male only has a single X chromosome, so it has one copy of the allele that is responsible for white eyes, denoted as just W. In the F1 generation, there are two phenotypes. The first are males that inherit one X chromosome from the mother. Since they inherit a W+ copy of the allele, they have red eyes. The others are females that inherit one X chromosome from the male and one X chromosome from the female. They therefore have red eyes as well. This indicates that red eyes are dominant over white eyes. In the F2 generation, there are three possible phenotypes. The first are females that have either two copies of the W+ allele, one on each chromosome. Alternatively, they have one copy of the W+ allele and one copy of the W allele. Because W+ is dominant over W, these females have red eyes. The males inherit either a copy of the W+ X chromosome and have red eyes, or a copy of the W chromosome and have white eyes. The F2 generation has no females with white eyes. The F1 and F2 phenotypes are explained by the fact that the gene responsible for eye color is carried only by the X chromosome. This experiment served as confirmation that the X chromosome does not only carry sex determinants, but can also carry traits that are associated with eye color. In other words, several genes must be carried by the X chromosome. This suggests that Mendel's second law is not universal.